Now, let's talk about some of these entertainers and so-called leaders. Let's start with Michael Jordan, who couldn't find his way back to the black community if his chauffeur had to take him. And that's based on how he's exploited millions and millions of our black youth, selling tennis shoes at an outrageous, astronomical price that's beyond the black family's household incomes reach. $200 and $300 for a pair of Jordans, which they're really not Jordans no more if you look at it, because he's been sold his name along with his soul and his brand of shoes to the cracker. And Michael Jordan, who allowed the mob to kill his father, and he's never done anything about that. And that's what you call a high-priced cow. He's a sellout. Bill Cosby is the same way. Bill Cosby is one of the weakest men in the black community. He's always played a Uncle Tom second-fetched role. He started off as I Spy, playing a black spy, posed as a tennis player. And then he went on to have a boule and bourgeois show called The Cosby Show, which was so far-fetched from the reality of the black community. And not only that, he made a statement about poor blacks that was so degraded and it was a sellout statement that he made. Now, when he wanted to buy NBC, and they told him, the cracker told him to shut up and keep eating his fucking pudding, he was determined to buy NBC, and they killed his son. He's never done nothing about that. He's one of the weakest men in the black community. He's a damn cow. Kanye West, who initially, when he came out after his near-death experience, and I believe it was a car accident or something like that, he came out very conscious, and they turned him out too. They put him on their couch, and he had to perform a bisexual love scene, and after that, he began to become commercialized. And when he made a statement in one of his songs about George Bush, they killed his mother. I think she had a breast implant or some type of liposuction or some type of tummy tuck or something of that nature. And he's done nothing about that. And you know, he's a cow. The black community, the leaders in the black community, brothers and sisters, you are the leader of the black community. You have to take charge of your life. You have to take charge of your family. You have to take charge of your community. All the people that we've looked up to, all the way to Barack Obama, which no one heard of him 5 years ago, and all of a sudden everybody's gone Barack Obama crazy. Of course, it's a monumental accomplishment for the black community to have someone of African descent or melanated person in the Oval Office. But at the same time, if you look at the history of Barack Obama, he was made by them. He was one of those niggas that were made in America. And a lot of people don't like to hear anything about Barack Obama, but the street law soldiers, we're going to tell you the truth. And if you don't believe it, all you have to do is go online and look on YouTube. Look at Larry Sinclair. You can look up at Darren Muhammad. And they can tell you in detail the process on how white America, these crackers, created Barack Obama. And he's going to be used, just like in Washington, D.C., how the crackers used Mayor Fenty to implement this gentrification and assist in the New World Order here in the nation's capital of the hellholes of Washington, D.C. So we have to be very, very mindful and conscious, and that's why we have to start reading Black Man. That's why you have to start reading Black Woman, so you can understand who you are, the rich and strong and powerful legacy and history of people in which we came from. We only think that when you ask the average black person what's the worst atrocity that has happened in the history of this country, they'll tell you 9/11. Where only 3,500 people were killed. But the worst atrocity that has ever existed in the history of man was the transatlantic slave trade, where we lost over 600 million brothers and sisters. And see, a lot of you niggas always say, forget about slavery, that's in the past. We're slaves now. We're slaves now. When a black man punches the clock in the morning for 9, 10, 11, 12, $13 an hour for organization where the cracker makes 9, 10, 11, 12, $13,000 an hour, that's slavery. So we need to be very, very mindful of that. We need to study ourselves. We need to study history. We need to be proud to be black. And that's what the street law soldiers, we try to implement into the black community, that we need to understand who we are. We're black soldiers. We're black warriors. And we're fighting this cracker. We're fighting this peckerwood. We're fighting this bastard to the end. Because the showdown is coming. Pan-Africanism versus global white supremacy. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to accept it or not. And they have us under mind control right now in the foods that we eat. The genetic foods that we eat that are depleting our young in terms of their hormones. And that's why you have 10, 11, 12-year-old boys switching. And you have these young girls practicing lesbianism, you know, before they reach the teenage years. A lot of it's not on them. It's the stuff that they spray in the air. They spray these chemicals in the air to keep us sick during the winter. And we call ourselves catching the cold, but really that's planted. But if you do your research, you don't have to believe nothing that I'm telling you. All you have to do is do your research. Look up HAARP, HAARP, and they'll tell you how they make tornadoes, they make it rain. And just like in Hurricane Katrina, tsunami, those things were man-made for the destruction of our people. And we need to understand who we are. We need to truly understand who we are. I'll take the time for anybody have any questions or concerns.
Okay, Brother Tillman, on the other tape you were speaking about destruction, and you were speaking about the young men rappers. And what type of form do they actually hurt their community?
The black rappers, they really destruct the community in the form of embracing black on black violence, embracing drug dealing, embracing date rape and the sexual assault and the abuse and the dehumanization of our young sisters in the black community.